Welcome to Stories I Didn't Get to Tell Last Sunday. Hey, I'm Doug McAllister, lead pastor at Journey Fellowship Church. And today we're going to tell you some stories that I wish I had time to tell last Sunday. And today joining me is my longtime friend, my former boss and mentor, Sue Courtney. Miss Sue, I am so excited to be able to see your face again. I used to work for you in the late 80s, right? 89, 90?
Yes, 89,
91.
90, yes.
Yeah, that seems like a lifetime ago.
It
oh
was.
my gosh.
It was.
Okay, I can't believe that when I say the 90s, we're talking about 30 years ago.
Yes, yes,
It
yes.
seems like it was yesterday,
And
huh?
we're still friends.
I know, right? After all these years.
And we still love each other.
How rare is it to have a friend for 30 years?
Yes, yes.
You know, somebody said this, Sue. It takes a long time to make an old friend.
Wow.
And man, you are
I'm an old friend.
Yeah. Well, we're not that old. We're both pretty young, but we've been friends
Yes.
for a long,
Yes.
long time.
And we worked together.
We did. I worked for you. Let's just be honest.
And that's
Yeah.
a real test of a friendship.
It really is.
Is when you can work together and
really
you can still
is.
stay friends.
So I was in Bible college in 1986, 87.
Yes.
And then when I came home from Bible college, I enrolled at Southeastern. I
Right.
wanted to get a degree in communications with a minor in history.
Right.
So I went to SLU, and that's the time when they planted the church on the campus. So Harvest was a brand new church. I started going there, me and Rachel, and our one child at the time. We have 5 now, our oldest son. And you guys started a Christian school.
Yes. That was like, what were we thinking?
One Sunday y'all announced it. The next Sunday you did it.
And I'll never forget the first time I got up in church to talk about it.
Yeah.
I had never really done that before, and I felt like my mouth
Yeah.
had cotton ball, and I kept doing that to my mouth, and I was scared to death.
Really?
But I knew that it was something we were supposed to do.
Yeah, it was a call from God.
It was a call from God, truly.
Because the vision was so strong
Yes.
on you.
Yes.
I don't know. No one knew you were feeling cotton balls in your mouth that day because we heard the vision.
Wow.
It was like, oh, that's God.
Wow.
We got a witness, you
Wow.
know. And at that time, we were meeting in this big metal building with concrete floors. And on Monday morning, you transformed it into a school.
Wait.
Uh,
We transformed it into a school.
Yeah.
We were talking about shower curtains.
Yeah, I know. Well, should we tell that story? All right. So
Please tell it.
When we first started, we didn't have any doors in the
No.
church. It was all doorways.
Right.
You know, we invented recycling because we would turn a shower curtain into a door.
Right.
So all of our doors had shower curtains.
Right.
And how about the temporary walls that we would roll out?
Well, we were joking about this earlier because they were so heavy
Yeah.
that if one of had fallen on a child, it would have probably destroyed the child.
It would have closed the school. It would have killed all the student body. And these walls, and to give you a picture of how big they were 10 foot tall.
Yes.
About what, 20 feet wide?
Yes, and they were made with real wood.
Real 2x6s and
Yes,
2x4s,
yes.
and they were on wheels, on
Yes,
casters.
yes.
So we would roll them
Right,
out on
right,
Monday morning
right.
or Sunday night. And
Well,
you had
Sunday night,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you had maybe 10 or 15 or maybe 20 of these portable walls.
That's right.
And you would build 6 classrooms in the main auditorium.
That's right. And then on Friday,
We would roll them
we
all out
roll them back out.
and have church on Sunday morning.
Right.
Had any of those walls tipped over,
It would.
it would end
I shudder to think.
Oh, my
I didn't
gosh.
really think about it until way after.
Yeah.
I guess one night I had a nightmare about it, thinking, "Oh my God, what's going to happen if one of these fell on one of these children? It would be forever. We would be on the
Yeah.
front page of the paper.
Yeah.
It would have been terrible."
I just appreciate though the how hard you went after the vision. You know, with you didn't have a building with classrooms or, you know, all of the things you would need to build a
Yes.
school,
Yeah.
but you had a vision, and it turns
Yeah.
out vision is the most important part.
Yes.
Yeah, because you built a school without a building,
Yes.
and hundreds of students were
Yes.
coming. So
Yes.
at that time, I was going to Southeastern in Hammond, and I was working for Harry McNeely Funeral.
Oh,
Remember Harry McNeely?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, Harry McNeely. At that time he was still alive, and he
Yes.
hired. So I was going to church on Sunday, and one day I saw Harry at church, and he said, "Hey boy, what are you doing?" And I was
Hey,
20.
boy.
I was 20. I was still in college, and Harry was just very super successful businessman.
Yes.
You know, he was a legend.
Wore the suit.
Oh
the
my
tie,
gosh, he
yeah.
was a legend, man.
Right.
You know. So anyway, so it's like Harry wants to talk to me. It's like I think I was looking for a job. I said I'm going to Southeastern looking for a job. He said, "Come work for me." I was like, when do I start?
Okay.
He said, yeah. He said, come to my office tomorrow. I'm going to give you a job. And that's really how that happened. So I started working I'd go to school all day at Southeastern, and then I'd work at the funeral home from 5 until midnight at night. And I was doing grief ministry and counseling, just whatever he needed me to do at night. He just made up a job for me. I really didn't have a job.
That is so
he
amazing.
just made up a job for me. And he said, I want to help you to get through school. And he was just that kind of person.
Favor, honey. You had favor.
He was just, she was so kind to me, and he paid me, way more than what I was worth. Wow. I didn't deserve what he paid me, So I worked 7 hours at night, and so I go to school all day and work at night until midnight. So the first year of your school at the Learning Center, you were looking for a history teacher.
History. Mm-hmm.
So one day at church, was it you or somebody asked me if I was interested in teaching?
I think I did.
Yeah, yeah. You said and of course, history is my passion. I was studying history at Southeastern. I said, yeah. So I had to resign from the funeral home, my funeral career.
Which you probably made more money working at the funeral home.
I did. I made more money working for the funeral home, and the customers never complained, ever. So I left the funeral home to come work for you.
Yeah.
So I was teaching history and civics, and I think Louisiana history.
Did you teach Bible too? Maybe?
I did.
Discipleship?
No, I think Dale was teaching Bible.
Okay,
at the
that's
time.
right. Yeah.
I think Pastor Dale was teaching Bible. So anyway, I worked for you that first year, and then you put me over one day after school. There was chaos in the parking lot. Remember all those hundreds of people trying to exit? And
one way in, one way out.
Yeah, there was a little tiny parking lot with 80 cars coming through to pick up kids. And you come to me one day, you said, Doug, you have got to fix this exit strategy. I was like, what am I supposed to do? You said, I don't know, but go figure it out. So I went out there with a clipboard, because a clipboard is the key to everything. If you got a clipboard, people think you're serious.
They think you know what you're doing.
Oh, he has a clipboard. He's in charge. Yeah. So I went out there and I made a list. So within a week,
it was great.
Man, it was fun. We had dismissal down to like 10 minutes. I don't know if it was safe. It was probably dangerous and illegal what we did.
Right.
But we were loading
kids. But you did it.
We did. We got it. And all those kids, for the rest of the year, I was in charge of dismissal. And man, we had fun.
Did you know what cars you were putting the children into?
Well, we were just hoping they were the right ones. Look, you don't have 3 kids today. You do.
Right.
These are your 3.
No, Doug, I love you.
We were pretty certain. So all the kids got home in the right car every day.
Yes,
and then the next year, I don't know why you gave me a promotion. I don't know why you asked me to come and help you. Do you remember what happened?
You were the assistant, I think.
Yeah, I was your assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I was not qualified to be. I was still in college.
Yeah, but there was something about you.
Yeah.
That
that's kind.
You just walked in confidence.
Yeah.
And further, I saw something in you.
Oh.
I saw greatness in you.
Oh, Sue.
I did.
You made me cry.
And look at you today.
You're going to make me cry. That's just too much.
Look at you today.
Well, I had so much fun serving you. I'm telling you. It's easy to serve a visionary, so you are a visionary. Mm-hmm. Every day you would just eat and drink and breathe Christian education.
Yes.
And I learned so much from you about in fact, we just did a series at Journey 2 months ago in July. The series is called
Yes.
Called. If you're listening or watching today, you can go back and watch that series. It's on the app.
I'm going to go do that.
But all 4 of those messages in that series came out of what I learned from you 30 years ago.
Wow.
Self-government, industry, dominion, liberty of conscience. Those 4 principles really went deep into my soul. Yeah. So when I was strategizing out the message series, I pulled out all my notes. I think I even texted you.
You did.
Yeah, so make sure I got these. Am
I
remembering this correctly? I don't want to mess up your vision.
Could you please give me the definitions again to make sure that I'm doing this right?
I'm pulling the right ones out. Yeah. So we built the 4-part series around those 4 principles, and you still use those today in your school. So you were the founder and the director of Harvest Christian Academy for many years.
Yes.
And I worked for you for 2 of those years.
That's right.
Early on, and
that's right.
I wanted people at Journey to know you and see you and hear your voice because you carry a vision that this generation needs so desperately, and that is the shaping and developing of the next generation.
That's right.
And you're doing such a great job. And then recently you founded a brand new school.
Yes.
So I want to talk about Courtney Christian School. By the way, your name is Sue Courtney, and the school is called Courtney Christian School.
But I did not do that.
I know you didn't name it, but I'm glad your board picked the name because I really believe, the legacy that you're leaving behind merits that
Wow.
that school carry your name. Oral Roberts has a university. I think Sue
does.
Courtney needs an elementary and a high school
Thank you.
named after her, because you carry that vision and that anointing. And should Jesus tarry, the
Yeah.
generations to come
That's right.
are going to glean so much from
That's
the
right.
principles that you laid in the foundation of that school. So tell us about Courtney Christian
Okay.
School. Tell us when you started, kind of the beginning, and give us the update story where you are today. So go to the beginning.
Okay. I was in the public school system and learning a lot about people and administration and curriculum. And so I was busy doing that, thinking this is what I was going to do until Jesus returns, because I didn't see retirement in the Bible. I just don't see that.
Yeah.
I think you just go from one season to the next. And so some leaders in the community came to me and asked me, this was in 2014, and asked me if I would consider starting another Christian school. And
Yeah.
I thought, they're crazy.
Well, when I left to move to Slidell, you told me, when the Lord releases me from this one, I'm never starting another school.
That's exactly right.
You told me that yourself. And
I
said,
did.
I don't think I would say
I did.
never.
I did. Well, you're not supposed to tell the Lord no.
No, because God doesn't take no for an answer.
He is going to. He's a God. He has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he's probably he was
He
probably
smiled.
laughing.
He
Yeah,
said,
thinking.
sounds good.
I
Yeah.
don't think so, but just
So they came to you and
They
said,
came to me and
"Would
they
you start a
asked me,
school?"
and this was in 14, and I
Yeah.
just after I got past the shock of
Yeah.
that, I said, well, I have to pray about this.
Yeah.
My husband had passed away, and I just didn't know if I could do this by myself.
Yeah. And let me just say that for a moment before you get too far, how much I loved your husband, Harold.
Oh, thank
What
you.
a precious heart.
He did.
What a precious man.
He did.
And I remember him leading worship when the church was
Yes.
young, playing his
Yes.
guitar.
Yes.
You know how much he loved you and your kids, and I just want you to know that he had such a great impact. He was such a good friend.
Aw, you make
I'm
me
sorry.
cry.
I'm sorry that you don't have him anymore.
I am too.
Yeah.
I think he would be really proud
I
of where
know,
we.
he
where
well,
we are.
He's kind of the main reason that you founded the first school, right?
He is probably in God are the
Yeah.
only reasons why I did.
Because he made you go to that formation meeting.
He made me go to that meeting.
Harold said, "Sue, go to the meeting,"
Right.
and you said, "No, I'm
no,
not going."
I said I'm not. I said I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Right.
And he said, "No, I really think you should." So on the way home from Baton Rouge, he said, "Okay, just about time for us to go." He took me. I couldn't even go home.
Yeah, he just made you go.
He took me.
Were you teaching in the public school before Harvest Learning Center started?
No.
What were you doing at the time?
What was I doing?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You were raising
no,
kids.
I'll tell you what. I
Yeah.
was at home. I was
Yeah.
staying at home with
Yeah,
children.
you had five kids.
Four
right?
children. Well, we had
Four kids.
five.
Yeah.
Christian died, went
Yeah.
to heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have
and so
four
we
that
have-
you raised.
That's right.
Yeah, so you were a stay-at-home mom. Of course, you're an
Yes.
educator, and you've been in education
Yes.
for many years. We won't say
Yes.
what year, but for many
A
years.
lot of years.
Yeah, many years.
Right.
And so at that time, you were a stay-at-home mom,
Yes.
and Harold said, "Go to this meeting."
That's right.
And that's why you got into the planting of that new school.
Right. I didn't even have a choice.
Right.
He took me to the meeting and dropped me off.
Right. And how long were you at that school?
15 years.
16.
Yeah, about 16
16 years.
Uh-huh.
All right. So here, fast forward to 7
Now.
years later, after you went back to public school.
That's right.
And then the community leaders ask you
Yes,
to
so
plant this school.
That's right. I prayed for a year.
Yeah. Oh, for a
and
year.
I prayed for a year.
Well, because with Harvest, y'all announced it
was-
one Sunday and started the next.
Yes.
So
I
you,
said,
you
I don't
slowed
think
down
I
a little
want
bit.
to do this again. But we did start it in 5 weeks after I made the decision.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, they came to me in 15 in May, and they asked me if I would, if I heard from God. And they were all sitting around my kitchen table like,
Yeah.
no pressure, but we're not doing this without you.
Yeah.
And so I really felt like it was the Lord for me to do it. So,
How do you start a school from scratch, Sue?
well, I had foot surgery right after I said yes to the dress.
Yeah, of course.
And
Perfect timing.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then so I hired teachers and wrote the philosophy and ordered curriculum from my couch.
Yeah.
And I had my foot propped up, and
Wow.
I interviewed teachers, and we did the logo and the motto and everything within probably 2 weeks.
I want to show the logo. I love the logo for Courtney
Thank
Christian
you.
School. The
Thank you.
colors, the cross.
Thank
it is such a
you.
great job. Did you design the logo?
Five Stones Media, Kim Walker.
Yeah.
And Tim Sanfilippo, one of my board members,
Yeah.
they designed that for us.
Man.
And I'm telling you, they came one day to my house, And the next day they had it
Wow.
ready. Well, of course, we knew we were in a hurry.
Yeah.
This was in June. So then Pastor Devin and I went and signed a lease
Yeah.
on the building, one of the buildings that we're in today,
Yeah.
with no money.
Wow.
We just signed it. And Don McMath, he's going to probably die when he hears this,
Yeah.
but he trusted me and found out about 2 months later that I didn't have any money when I signed the lease. And he said, I can't believe we did this.
Well.
Yeah, but he recognized that it was God. He
Yeah,
recognized
it
it.
was a call from God.
Yes.
So that building was what before?
That building was Medicaid.
Oh, it was a Medicaid office.
Medicaid building, yeah.
Because it was laid out like a classroom. I mean, they had
No,
the
it
hallway.
It really
or did you have
wasn't.
to remodel it?
We gutted that
Oh, you
building
gutted it.
with
Oh.
fire marshal approval and sprinkler system in 5 weeks. Don McMath
that's unheard
did
of.
that in 5. He had crews running 24/7.
That's
And I
unheard of.
told Ken Benitez with Action 17, I said, we're opening school on August the 20th.
Yeah.
And this was like July that we started gutting everything.
That seems impossible.
It truly,
Yeah.
whenever I speak to Rotary or Kiwanis or somewhere, and there's contractors in the audience,
Yeah.
they come to me and say, that is impossible. I don't
Yeah.
know how you did that.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we did in 5 weeks.
We've done a few building projects at Journey, and sometimes it takes 5 weeks to get the application filled out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had fire marshal approval. That's the key. So on August the 1st,
That was a favor of God.
truly.
Nothing
So
but-
on August the 1st, I did tell Ken Benitez on a TV interview, he said, when are you opening school? And I said, August the 20th.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And so he said, but your building is not, what are you going to do? And I said, well, we have a building, and we're getting ready to gut it, and
Yeah.
we're going to be opening school August the 20th. So August the 1st, we still didn't have any money, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
And we had ordered curriculum, we had ordered furniture. It was a beautiful building inside with nothing in it. It was beautiful, had all the New England colors.
Yeah.
And Kenya Carter, one of my administrators, came to me and said, now, you realize that we're ordering all of this and we don't have any money. You realize that, right? And I said, I know, but
Yeah.
I know that God, I had a word from
Small
God.
detail. Yeah.
It is a small detail.
Yeah.
What is money?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I had something on here on this little card, and it said, God never gives you a dream that matches your budget. He's not checking your bank account. He's
Yeah.
checking your faith.
I want to take a shot of that, and we'll put it on the screen for everybody to see. What a great quote.
And
What a great
yes,
quote.
that is
Yeah.
yes.
Read it again. Say it again.
God never gives you a dream or a vision.
Mm-hmm.
I put vision in there that matches your budget. He's not checking your bank account.
Yeah.
Thank God, huh?
I know, right?
He's checking your faith.
Wow.
And so on August the 1st, on August the 6th, I call that the day that heaven came to earth,
Yeah.
because this gentleman, Nathan Wall, from Springfield came. He'd heard about our school, and we did a little walkthrough. Still, we had no furniture. Nothing was there except for those beautiful walls and beautiful floors.
Yeah.
And nothing had been delivered yet. And he asked me my vision and 5-year plan, which I had just written the night before.
Wow.
And
Perfect
I told
timing.
him what my heart was and what our philosophy was and what my goals were, my credentials.
Yeah.
And he committed $250,000 to us.
Wow.
And then it was then that I knew, but it was then that I really realized that this was God,
Yeah.
that God really is in this.
Wow.
And so we had all the money that we needed to start the school.
So that's just an amazing story. Let's just stop for a moment and just dwell on that.
Yeah.
You got a word from God. You rented a building.
And faith.
Ordered curriculum.
Yes.
And all the furniture.
Yes.
And no students yet.
No students.
Just a dream.
Yes.
And the Lord walks in with a generous giver
Yes.
to front you $250,000.
Yes.
Only the Lord.
Yes.
That's like Abraham and Isaac when God
Yes.
provided the ram.
That's right.
There's always a ram in the bush.
That's right.
But you're right. He's always checking our faith.
We were to the edge of the Red Sea,
Yeah.
and we did not know how, because we had all this behind us, like
Yeah.
the bills and
Sure.
all that. And God parted the Red Sea for us. And I'm telling you, Doug, that is a moment in time I'll never forget,
I know,
ever.
right? That's
Because it just made me feel so, I don't even know what the word is, just validated, I guess, but just how much God loved me.
yeah.
And how much he does honor faith.
Yeah.
He does. He honors
Yeah.
faith. And so we had ordered the curriculum. We were able to pay for everything, and we have always been well financially since then.
Wow.
So fast forward that to
Yeah.
5-6 years later. I didn't mean to get emotional.
Oh,
But
I'm with you.
God, I just, I really feel like he has been directing my steps ever since.
Yeah.
And so we had an opportunity to be able to expand our facility.
Yeah.
The students were coming by the droves.
How many students are there?
We have 350 students now.
in
We
2000
started 127.
Right. So your first year.
127.
127. Yeah.
7 students.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every year we grew exponentially.
Yeah.
And then finally at the 350, we said we have, we
So
got
350 enrolled today?
Yes.
Oh, my
enrolled
gosh.
today. We're going to end up with probably 500
How
on
many
our
years
campus.
has it been? 14?
Only 6 years.
6 years.
But that just goes to show me that God really wanted this work for today, for
Yeah.
this
So
day.
you're pre-K through 8th grade.
Pre-K 3 through the 8th
And
grade.
350 students.
350 students.
See, that is just a miracle.
Well, there's more to the story.
I know.
And
I
so-
want to get into it.
So what happened then is that this gentleman, and I've known his family for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a doctor in Hammond, and he heard that we were looking to expand, and so
Right.
he came to my office one day, and he said, Sue, tell me about what you're going to do. So I told him what my dream was. We needed to have 5 classrooms for early childhood.
Mm-hmm.
We needed a gymnasium because we wanted to have our own sports program. And we needed a 10 classroom building for middle school. And so he said, how much do you need? And I said, $5.5 million. And he asked me what I needed it for. And so he fronted the entire project. I don't think you knew that. And so he has fronted that entire project, and then we, in turn, pay him, yes, every month. But
Wow.
yes, and God just keeps
He
doing that.
invested in your dream.
He invested in my dream.
Oh,
he
my
did,
gosh.
and he's a believer in what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so his name is Dr. George Anthem, and he has Anthem Chiropractic in Hammond.
What a generous man.
He's an amazing person,
Yeah.
and I just I feel like these 2 men
Yeah.
were just raised up by God
Yeah.
to help me
Yeah.
when I didn't have any money.
That's a great picture, though, of a visionary who is carrying a word from the Lord
Yeah.
and walking in the faith that it requires. And then God sends resources that you didn't even have access to or know
Yes.
about.
It's kind of like Moses with Aaron and Hur.
Yeah.
How they held
Or held his arms
his
up.
arms up.
As long as they held him up, the battle went well.
And that's how I feel about
Yeah.
these 2 men, is
Yeah.
that Nathan Wall has been a spiritual support,
Yeah.
as well as Dr. George Anthem. And I am truly, humbled by what they did for me.
Yeah.
And then this other quote that I have by
Right.
Ralph Waldo Emerson, I love this one. It says, "Do not follow where the path may lead, but go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." And I feel
That-
like that's what I'm doing. I said
what a
there was
visionary
no
does.
path.
Yeah.
There was no roadmap, if you
Yeah.
will, to this.
Yeah.
We started the school in 5 weeks.
Right.
We had no roadmap as far as what we were going to do, and God miraculously raised us up. Yeah.
And too, I don't think you should discount the decades that you have served that community and the people that know you
Wow.
and the integrity that you carry and the staff you've assembled around you.
Wow.
Our youngest son went to 8th grade at Courtney Christian School. We
Yes.
were living in Hammond for a year next to Rachel's mom and dad. And so he got to spend a year under your mentorship, and we're
Yes.
grateful for that.
Oh.
But I think all of the years, Sue, and all of the people that you've already affected, I think God just rolled that into the recipe,
Wow.
And
Wow.
when they heard Courtney Christian School was opening, my first thought was, where do I sign up?
Oh, Doug.
Not how much does it cost or where is it? If Sue's there, I want to be there.
Oh.
And so many people think that about you, Sue.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
true, and
Thank
it's
you.
real.
Thank you.
We've seen the lives that God has transformed
Yes.
through your ministry and through teaching. So I think, the 350 students, is it exactly 350? Or,
Right now it is. They're still
350.
enrolling. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Those 350 students are drawn to you and to your team and to this amazing campus. So the building's built?
There's 4 buildings now. There's the
Wow.
main building, the early childhood,
Yeah.
the gymnasium, and then we named the 10 classroom middle school building after a teacher who we lost from COVID in
Oh, God.
January, the Ruth Burton Hall.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and so her name will live on forever at our school. So we have it on the building, Ruth Burton Hall. Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
Yes.
that. I
Yes.
know Ruth was so precious, Ruth and Doug.
Yes.
When we were at Harvest, we were good friends with them.
Yeah.
And of course, I haven't seen them. I've been in Slidell for 25 years, so we've all lost touch.
Well, Josh is he was an amazing husband.
Yeah.
And he,
Yeah, Josh and Ruth.
yep,
Oh, God.
yep. And
just
he
seems
has
like
just,
It's not even real.
he's so proud of what we're doing, and
Yeah.
he's really proud of the fact that we named the hall after
What
her.
did Ruth teach? What
She
class?
taught math.
She taught math.
She taught
in
math.
Junior high or
and
the
middle
whole
school math.
middle school?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And just amazing teacher. And I
She
think
was.
She was one of the remnants
Yeah.
from the school that I had started earlier.
Yeah.
And
remember.
I believe that that God used her in a mighty way to disciple
Yeah.
7th grade students
Yeah.
and all the middle school students.
Yeah. What an honor.
Oh.
What an honor.
Well, there was just it was not even, I mean, it was no brainer. We just
Yeah.
said, we've got to do this.
Yeah.
She was faithful to me,
Yeah.
as well as the remnant. Well, they
Yeah.
all are, but
Yeah.
the remnant of the teachers that
Yeah.
came were just
Yeah.
my former employees from the other school, and
Yeah.
just they understood. They understood like you did. You grasped the vision. You grasped the vision of the providential hand of God,
Yeah.
and that we have to tell the truth
Yep.
about what happened really in history.
Yeah.
And because of that, and I was telling somebody earlier, maybe it was you, that 6 years ago, I just really felt like, it was a word from God, and I really believe it was God. Today, I see the real reason why God started this school and why He really raised up these 2 men to support me, because this school is telling the truth about America
Yeah.
and how it was founded, and we are pouring into these young people
Yeah.
to be world changers.
Our culture is almost hell-bent on destroying the truth about our founding.
That's right.
And it all started in Harvard University with the 1619 Project and all of the stuff with the
Yes.
CRT now that's so prevalent in our
Yes.
culture.
Yes.
All came out of very educated men and women from
right.
Harvard University.
That's right.
Who seem to be bent on destroying the truth.
That's right.
Whether you like America or not, can we just tell the real story?
Yes.
Can we just be honest about it and let people judge for
Yes.
themselves?
Yes.
Because there's not another country on the globe like this one. I was a missions pastor for years, and I've led mission trips. I've been in over 40 countries of the world.
Wow.
And there's not another place on the planet that I've ever seen like
Yes.
this one. Because, Sue, here's the reason why. Because in this country, the individual
Yes.
has an opportunity
That's right. That's right.
to be a human being.
That's right.
And that is rare, where the government doesn't force you to be what they want you to be, but you're free to express the first 10 Amendment says it so clearly. You can think, you can pray, you can say your opinion,
That's right.
you can defend yourself, you have a right for all the,
Yes.
and those things are so,
Yes.
ingrained in our culture that we
Yes.
forget that they're rare.
That's right.
And like Ronald Reagan said, liberty is one generation away
Yeah.
from being gone.
Yeah.
And so I think what you're doing is so urgent and so beautiful, and what God is doing on your behalf with your campus. Those 5 buildings. The first time I went there, you had one Medicaid
Right.
office.
We thought we were going to be there. That was it.
Yeah,
That was it.
I love that your vision started in a Medicaid office.
Right.
Only God.
I love that.
Only God.
I love that.
And then now you've built 4 new buildings. I passed by the other day. I didn't get to stop in and see you because you guys had hundreds of people there.
Well, you better come by.
I'm going to come back when you're not quite as busy.
Well, they'll always
yeah.
they'll
Yeah,
always be busy.
I'll try to sneak
but-
in
right,
maybe in between.
Right.
But your campus is amazing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the beautiful thing is that we are right off the interstate.
Yeah.
And so that's a real plus.
And you're right off I-55,
Yeah.
down 190 in
Yes,
Hammond.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
And then we just recently are leasing 5 acres from Community Motors to John Deere.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a sports complex
Oh, my
outside.
gosh.
And so we'd like to be able to purchase that one day. So I'm just believing that God is going to send me somebody else to help us to purchase that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Right. The
Yeah.
next time I come back, I'll
Yeah,
tell
you'll
you.
tell that story.
Right, we'll tell that story.
Right.
But, talking about the individual and talking about government, Abraham Lincoln, I guess you and I are all about quotes, but you know what? We've been like this forever.
I know.
Even back 30 years ago.
We used to have full conversations where we would just trade quotes.
Right, exactly.
And never have a real thought
That's
of our own.
right. Doug, I love you.
Yeah.
But Abraham Lincoln said the philosophy of the classroom in one generation
Yeah.
is the philosophy of government
In the next.
in the next.
Absolutely.
And so that mandate
Yeah.
is something that I took very seriously
Yeah.
because I believe that God wants to pour into these individuals
Yeah.
the ability to think governmentally from the biblical perspective.
Yeah.
And then that way they can make informed decisions as far as who to elect for future leaders.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm believing they're going to be some of our future leaders.
Yes.
I'm believing that they're going to be producers
Yeah.
instead of consumers
Yeah.
in society.
Yeah.
And that's where these 4 imparting and I guess infusing these 4 Christian character traits
Yeah.
of dominion, which
Right.
is the creation mandate,
Right.
telling us to take dominion over what we're responsible for, not the whole world, but
Right.
just our side of the street, if you will.
When I was working for you, you brought in for 1 year a teacher who his specialty was creation.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I can't tell you how much I learned that year.
Yes.
And it really opened my eyes up to a lot of the knowledge about creation, about the
Yes.
dinosaurs, about
Yes.
about
the rakia. Remember the rakia?
absolutely, yeah, the
Yes.
atmosphere around the earth that was
Yes.
broken during the flood.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug,
Yeah.
you did take root.
Well, I have been studying it ever since. I really, it's one of my
Wow.
hobbies is I love to read about,
Yeah.
the evidence of creation
Yes.
and God's fingerprints are everywhere.
That's right.
And even to the point where the Bible says that He is the creator of the seen and the
And
unseen
unseen.
world. And that scripture was
good.
probably a mystery
That's so
for thousands
good.
of years. Like, what did, I'm sure people thought, what unseen world?
Right.
Well, little did we know that the unseen world is more magnificent than the seen.
Yes.
Just to
Yes.
the point of our DNA.
Yes.
It's not visible to the natural eye, and we're just now beginning to unravel the
Yes.
truth of the unseen
That's
world.
right.
I mean, it was even in the 90s when they first mapped the human genome. Until then we didn't even know there was a human
That's
genome.
right.
That there was and even down to the point that every chromosome shouts of a creator.
Right.
That there's no way
Right.
that all of those chemical reactions could have
Just
happened
boom.
by chance.
That's right.
There's a designer.
Yes. Yes.
There's a designer. And
Yes.
I learned so much that year, and I just appreciate how much you open the truth of God's word to students and teachers
and teachers
and people that work for you.
And parents, because one of our Christmas programs recently, 2 years ago, we had to shut down because of COVID, but we had 1,000 people at that program.
Oh my word! Where did you host it at?
We had to go to Chapapilo.
Oh,
we couldn't
my
fit
gosh.
anywhere. Any of the
Yeah.
churches couldn't fit anywhere in
Yeah,
Hammond.
that's amazing.
And so anyway, when I went to introduce the program, I looked out, and I saw the masses of people
Yeah.
that these students and what they're learning
Yeah.
they're touching.
What was the program?
It was a Christmas program.
Oh, really?
It was a Christmas program. It was just a real simple
Christmas story?
program. Yeah. But the bottom line is that these students at our school
Yeah.
have an impact on this many people.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they'll bring home scriptures that they've learned or the truth about history, Abraham Lincoln and his quote and what that means to them,
Yeah.
and how we can raise them up in our history. We spend 2 years on American history.
Yeah.
Angela Courtney is our master teacher. She's amazing. I'd love to have her come one day. She's just got such such
Would
wisdom.
you tell Angela that I really want her to come
I will.
to my podcast and let's talk American history
Listen,
for an hour?
she will blow your
I
mind.
love
That's a great
American history.
idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell her
Yeah,
that.
tell her that I want her to come and
Yes.
give her my number and let's
I will.
talk. Yeah.
And I'll come with her.
Yeah, come with her, and
I'll
we'll
come sit over
and
there.
we'll talk American history
There
for an
you go,
hour
there you
because
go.
it's and Angela's such a great teacher. She's been teaching with you, and of course she's married to your son Chad, but she's been teaching with you.
She was my teacher first.
right. Yeah, you found her.
I found her. I keep telling Chad every time I
Remind
say,
Chad constantly. Huh?
I found her for you.
Yeah.
Well, God did, but
Yeah.
I found her for you. But she will blow your mind and what she knows. But the beautiful
Yeah.
thing that we do is that she does is she spends the last a whole 9 weeks on talking about Washington D.C. because we take our students there. But it's not the kind of trip that a lot of schools take. She actually points out the evidence of God in our nation's capital.
Yeah.
And so they see
Sorry.
written on the wall,
Yeah.
they see God, what his original intent was for our country.
Yeah.
And these students will not get this, Doug. They won't get this anywhere else.
Yeah. And it's what a vital trip for a young
Yes.
person to experience
Yes.
Washington D.C. in that way.
In that way.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, all of our kids are grown now. Rachel and I had 5 kids.
Yes.
But we took all of our kids on a mission trip in their senior year, or somewhere around their senior year, so that they could get a heart for the Great Commission, see the world,
Yes.
and also just kind of understand what life is like outside of America.
That's beautiful.
So when Camden was a senior a few years ago, 3 years ago, we always let the kids choose where they wanted to go, or we were going to a place where we were planting a church. Well,
Oh, neat.
Cam, he's a sophomore at college now.
Yeah.
Well, he said, "Dad, I really want to go to Washington D.C. for our senior trip." And I was like, "Okay, that's unusual because
guess.
all my other kids, we took Ryan to Amsterdam, and Christian went to the Dominican Republic. We took Gabby to Africa. We took Kay to Argentina, and Cam wanted to go to Washington."
Angela Courtney probably had some kind of influence
He
with that.
may have,
she,
Carrie. That's what
yeah.
I was thinking. He may have got influenced by
Right,
Angela.
that's right.
So we went to Washington and we toured it from that perspective of God's hand in history. And we were very fortunate that we didn't plan it like this, but we went the week of the anniversary of Roe versus Wade. So there were hundreds of thousands of believers
Oh my gosh.
on the National Mall
Yes.
worshiping the Lord.
Oh my gosh.
It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen
Oh
in
my
my life.
God. Oh my God.
So Cam and I got there early because it's so many people that they estimated it was 1 million or
Oh,
more
yeah.
people
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So we got real early, and we got to the mall before it opened, and we got in line, and there were probably several thousand people in front of us.
Oh, my
But we
gosh.
were still there early, so we got in early enough that we got to the speaker stage, and that day President Trump gave the speech, the very first president to ever go to
That's
the
right.
March for Life.
That's right.
The very first one. And I'll tell you, I was in tears when the president talked about, America needing to repent
Yes.
and take responsibility for the
Yes.
unborn children.
That's right.
I looked around, Sue, and I'll tell you, and there were hundreds of thousands of teenagers and college students crying,
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
worshiping the name of Jesus.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
the most beautiful sight I've ever seen.
Oh
And I
my-
was in the middle of it. And unfortunately, the press will never tell you.
That's
You'll never
right.
see it in the news.
That's right.
But I turned around. I was right near the stage. We were probably maybe 30 yards from where the president was.
Are you serious?
So we turned around, Cam and I turned around, and we looked back down the mall because he was in front of the Capitol building. We looked back down the mall, and you could see the Lincoln Memorial. And Sue, as far as the eye could see, there were thousands and thousands of young people
Young people.
on their knees, hands
Oh
raised.
my gosh. Oh, you'll never forget that. What a trip.
It was life-changing.
Yes.
It was life-changing.
Yes.
And we got to see the city,
Yeah.
on top of the Washington Monument, there's
Yes.
a inscription that only God can see.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We learned so many things that most people don't even
I bet
know.
you Cam was able to point a lot of that out too.
He did. He knew it.
Yes.
He knew a lot of it. So Angela's having a huge impact. Those kinds of, truths are lost in our secular culture.
Yes. And
you're
that's what
protecting
sets
them.
us apart, I think,
Yeah.
Doug, from other schools.
Yeah.
Because, academics are academics.
Yeah.
But when you can really infuse the biblical worldview in there with academics, I think that's just a win-win.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go back and tell Angela.
Yeah, let her know
2 things.
how much we love her.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And I want her to come visit
that's
my
it.
podcast.
The second thing too. But we were talking about the individual, and one of the principles in the principle approach from the Red Books talks about the principle of individuality.
Yeah.
And how important God thinks about the individual.
Yeah.
That you are unique.
I know.
Your fingerprints. There's nobody else like Pastor Doug McAllister.
Yeah.
Nobody else like you.
Thank the Lord.
And, but it's just so beautiful. We're almost out of time.
Yeah.
But it's just so beautiful to just know that God thinks that much.
Yeah.
With the millions of people that are in the world today,
Yeah.
each
I
person
know.
is important to him.
Yeah. And he knows them by name.
Yes, and so if you impart that to students in a school
Right.
over and over again and show
Right.
them the evidence of that
Yeah.
in the Word, then when they come out of 8th grade,
Yeah.
they have a foundation that is second to none.
Yeah.
Because when they get to high school,
Yeah.
if they go to a public high school,
Right.
they're going to hear all kinds of different
Not
philosophies.
to mention secular university.
As secular
They
university,
fall off into the
same
darkness.
thing,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I remember my son, Wes, was at Southeastern, and the professor was talking about something, and he raised his hand, and he asked if he could stand outside while he talked about whatever it was he was talking about. And the professor let him, but I think that he really wondered why Wes couldn't hear that.
Yeah.
But he said, I just didn't want to hear an untruth
Yeah.
about America,
Right.
because God is
Right.
God. This was God's idea,
Right.
just like it was God's idea to start this school.
Yeah.
And we don't ever understand the impact when
Right.
He gives us a mandate.
Yeah.
Just like when you started the church, Doug, you didn't really understand what that mandate looked like.
Yeah.
Just like I didn't understand
Sure.
what this mandate of, what this calling, if you will, that the Lord put on me to start the school. We don't understand. But the bottom line is if we give Him our yes,
Yeah.
then He opens up the windows of heaven.
You did a teaching one time at a staff training day, and the name of the teaching, you may not remember this, but I'll see if I can jog your memory. You called it "Put Your Yes on the Table."
Yes.
You remember that day?
Yes.
That was a very,
Yes.
very intense message, and it had a huge impact on me and Rachel. It really did.
Well,
Put your yes on the table.
And really, that's that's been my philosophy forever.
Yeah.
There's another quote that I don't know how close we are to time, but there's another quote by Robert Frost, and it said, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
The road less traveled.
The road less traveled.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I've got many, many friends in education, and I'm thinking that probably many of them thought, why did I leave an institution where I had a guaranteed great salary and benefits
In retirement.
at this state in retirement at
Everything.
that stage of my life. And I thought about that quote from Robert Frost, that poem. And it's been really the story of my life, because I've never had a job ever where has ever been done before. So I was in the magnet program at Hammond Eastside, and that had never been done before in Hammond.
Right.
And then I went to Westside Montessori. That had never been done before in Hammond. So I wrote my own job description. And then here we are.
It's kind of like the story of your life.
It's been the story.
Never been done before.
I think I probably would have been on the Mayflower when the Pilgrims
You would
left
have been the
England.
first on the boat.
I would have been on
Yeah.
the boat.
You and your Bible.
Right, and
Don't-
watching all the people on the shore say, well, listen, if you're successful, then and the boat comes back, then we'll go
We'll
next.
take the next trip.
Right, but we'll watch you. You go first.
Yeah.
And that's,
you would have been a great pilgrim. You would have been a great pilgrim.
I love the Pilgrims.
You would have been a great pilgrim. Yeah.
I love the fact. You remember the story about the 5 kernels of corn?
No, I don't.
Well, during the first winter, the Pilgrims, many of them starved to death.
Right.
But I brought this to a teaching one time. I brought 5 kernels of corn because that's what the Pilgrims ate for supper.
Wow.
Was 5 kernels. Now, what kind of character? What kind of character does it take for a person to endure a hard winter and only having 5 kernels of corn to eat?
For dinner.
what kind of character? That's the character that we're breeding in our young people
Yeah.
at the school.
Yeah. So you're almost capacity now? Or
Well, we're close. We're going to be to capacity, and because what I'm doing is I'm adding 2 5th grades next year,
Okay.
then 2 6th, 7th, and 8th.
how many students can you
We can take
teach?
500 at our campus.
Yeah, so you're close. You're
We're going to
100
be,
and some away.
yeah. So I
Wow.
think I underbuilt, Doug, but
Yeah.
that's another story.
Wow.
And so then the high school, the board voted to do a high school, so we're going to go ahead and start a high school.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah,
So,
well, there's not a whole lot
same
to
campus?
tell. Well, I'm not real sure. High school students like to be their own people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're thinking maybe it might be at another campus.
Another location.
We're believing God for someone to give us $1 million.
Yeah.
And we're also believing God that He will raise up somebody to donate some acreage for
Yeah,
us so that we
yeah.
can go ahead. Or a building.
Yeah.
A building would be really nice.
Any Medicaid offices in town?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard of any, but it's going to take more than a
Yeah.
Medicaid office.
Yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
take a nice sized building
Yeah.
with a gymnasium.
Right.
And so, but you know what?
Yeah.
Just like years ago, I just know.
Yeah.
I just know that I know He's going to do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that about God because
Yeah.
He puts that in you. I was explaining this the other day. It's just like when, of course, you can't relate because you haven't been pregnant before.
Never.
But you watched your wife. And
I was there for
we
5
were
of
there,
them
but
being born.
she knew that there was something in there
Yeah.
before it ever manifested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before she even started showing, she
Right.
knew that there was something in there. That's how I feel
You're
about
pregnant
high
with this
school.
vision.
Something is
Yeah.
in there that's
Yeah.
going to happen.
You're pregnant
And the
with it.
reason why
I
is
get it.
because,
Yeah.
because just like what we're doing with our young people here in the junior high, these high school students need a foundation.
Yeah.
Because where they're going to go to college, I don't know where, they're going to need to know the truth.
Yeah.
They're going to need to know the truth about God.
What's the timeline for your high school? Any idea? Whenever God
Well,
opens the door?
I think whenever God opens the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 weeks for the other school.
All
but
right, I'm going
I
to come
don't know.
visit you real soon.
Okay.
I want to do a walkthrough and see the campus.
Okay.
And see Angela and see Kitty Moscow.
Yes.
See her in action.
Oh, Kitty Moscow just joined my staff, by
I
the
know,
way.
I
She's been my
heard.
friend for 1,000,000 years.
know, almost,
And,
yeah. Yeah.
and now she's my secretary.
Rachel and I, we took road trips with Kitty and Chris many
Oh,
years
my
ago.
goodness.
And Kitty always kept the car laughing
She-
the whole time.
She and Steve Morvant.
Yeah, always.
Remember Steve Morvant?
Oh, of course.
He was crazy.
Yeah,
They
Steve
were
and
crazy
Sharon.
together.
Yeah, we
but
had-
then when they put you in the mix,
Oh
then
my
it got
gosh.
even more crazy.
We had so much fun. We had so much. So I can't wait to come see everybody.
Yes.
To see Kenya is still with you.
Yes.
Yeah, I
and
can't wait to
Leanne,
see her.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see
Vicki Holstein.
Vicky's still there.
Vicki Holstein
No
is still
way.
teaching kindergarten.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. And then Ruthie, that was the remnant. And
Yeah.
then Ruthie,
Right.
who went to heaven,
Right.
she was the math person. And so
Yeah.
that remnant is what followed us.
Yeah.
And that's what I started the school with.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to come see everybody.
Would love
have
to
a cup
have
of coffee
you. Yes.
and just enjoy
And
seeing
don't
the
be
campus.
scared by the cars,
Yeah.
Doug.
Well, I wasn't.
there's-
I was afraid that you would put me in charge of dismissal, and I didn't want to do that again.
Wait, if you could time it, if you could come like at 2:50.
I want to go. I want to go when it's over.
Right. Or before.
Or before when all the kids are
Way
in class.
before.
Yeah, because I don't want to deal with 500
Oh.
cars. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to come back and
That would be
see you.
great.
So if people who are watching want to know more about Courtney, can they find you online?
We have a website.
And it's-
then also, I hate that you asked me that question.
What?
The website, I don't know
Courtney
what it
Christian
is.
School?
.com.
.com.
And then the number is 985
Yep.
393 0227.
Anybody living in Hammond or the greater Hammond area?
Well, we have them from Denham Springs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So,
we have them from Kentwood,
Yeah.
from Amite.
Yeah, and it's filling up quick.
They're coming. Well, we open up enrollment
Yeah.
in December.
Yeah.
December the 1st, we tell people to call. Well, it's really the first
Yeah.
Wednesday in December.
Right.
But we tell people to call because just as soon as the day is over, the early childhood is filled.
Yeah.
It's filled.
The day of. So you have preschool all the way through 8th
Right,
grade.
yeah.
Any openings now in the school?
We have a few openings in the middle school.
Wow.
Just a few
Wow.
openings in the middle school.
So-
Everything else is.
Wow. So you're adding more 5th grades
We're
next
going to
year?
add another 5th grade, and
Yeah.
then the year after we'll add another 6th, and then 7th and 8th.
Man.
And then we'll be I don't want to do any more than 2 of each class
You'll be at
because
capacity.
when you get so big,
Yeah.
you really lose that relationship with the
Yeah.
parents, and that's important to me.
Yeah.
To be just like it was with you when you
Yeah.
and Rachel were parents.
Yeah.
I wanted you to be able to call me or
Yeah.
text and
Absolutely.
ask questions. I
Sure.
want to keep that relationship
Yeah.
going with our.
Yeah, and it's so authentic when
Yes.
when you have a relationship, not just with the teachers,
Yes.
but with the leaders and the visionary
That's
of the
right.
school.
And then I've hired a principal,
Yeah.
Dr. Kayla Lamonte, and so she is doing a lot of what I have done, which is going to give me the availability to be able to come here
So
and to
great.
go to speak at Kiwanis
Yeah.
and different places
Yeah.
and just tell the story.
Yeah.
Because this story, Jesus told stories.
Always.
And this story, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And I always give the glory to God for
Yeah.
the story that I have.
You should probably write a book about
You know,
this.
you're about the 5th person that's told me
You
that.
need to tell this story.
I
mean, for generations to come,
Yes.
should Jesus tarry, people need to
Yes.
know what God did,
It's a parting the Red Sea story.
Yeah.
And as somebody said the other day, when I spoke at one of the local businesses, they said, we don't hear this today.
Yeah.
We don't hear this
Yeah,
kind
to
of
take a
stories
school
today.
from vision to
Yeah.
full enrollment
Yes.
in
6
less than a
years.
decade.
I know.
It's just
It's a miracle. But it's what God
a
wanted,
miracle.
you see.
Yeah.
This was his idea.
Yeah.
And his idea also, I'll never forget the day that he spoke to me and told me that he wanted this school to be founded on a culture of honor
Yeah.
and respect.
Yeah.
Honor and respect is slowly being lost in
Yeah.
the moral standard, the moral compass
Yeah.
is changing.
Yeah.
And so we ask our teachers to impart this because all the teachers and the staff love each other and
Yeah.
support each other.
Yeah.
There's no competition with the teachers. So
That's
if one
beautiful.
teacher has a great idea, then she'll share it or he'll share it with the rest.
Well, as we're wrapping this up, tell us
Oh.
about your logo. Your mascot.
The mascot is the lion, the mighty
I
lion.
saw the picture.
Yes, and don't you love this quote?
I
Here we
do.
are about quotes.
Yeah.
This is Psalm 30:30. The lion in you never
Yeah.
retreats.
Wow.
Never retreats.
I love that you selected the lion as a mascot. That it's a beautiful representation of Jesus, who is the
Yes.
lion
Yes.
of the tribe of Judah.
Yes.
But also, you're raising up a generation of young lions, and
Yes.
we'll put this picture on the screen for everybody to see.
Wonderful,
So
wonderful.
I just love the logo. I love the name.
Thank you.
But most of all, I love Sue Courtney.
I love Doug
I
McAllister.
love you so much, and we're so proud of you and
Thank
Courtney
you,
Christian
Doug.
School. Thank you for what you're doing for Hammond, Louisiana, and the nations of the world. Only eternity is going to be able to record the impact that you've had on so many lives, Sue.
Oh, wow.
And we are just
Thank you.
blessed to call you our friend,
Oh.
our leader, our mentor, and you gave me a job years ago, so thank you. She was a great boss. She really was. You were a
I
great
gave
boss.
you a job years ago.
You gave me a job.
And
when
it's crazy
I was
because
at
I
a
didn't
funeral
even
home
know
and you brought me into
but I
life.
didn't know you that well.
Well, I don't know why you picked
That
me.
was
I really don't
crazy.
know why.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
I
Are we
walked
still
by
on?
and you stopped
We're
me.
not on.
No, we're still talking.
Oh,
we're
we're still
on.
talking?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I just walked by and you stopped me in the conversation. Like, hey, you want a job? I was like, yeah, I need a job. You and Harry McNeely think I need jobs. So yes, I need a job.
I think I just knew that
Yeah.
inside of you
we
had
connected.
greatness.
Some people you meet.
Yes.
And you just connect. and
Yes.
It's like I knew you for
we
100
did.
years.
It's true. Because as soon as we started
100
talking,
years. I know.
it's like and it's still today.
Yeah.
I may not see you for a while.
Doesn't matter.
But we circle back and it's like it never.
And we pick up right
where we left off.
Right.
That's right, Pastor Doug.
We had just such a great time together. Well, we got to wrap it up. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Doug McAllister from Journey Fellowship Church. And this has been Stories I Didn't Get to Tell Last Sunday. Thanks so much to Sue Courtney. And if you want to find out more about Courtney Christian School, you can go to their website, call the number. And if you are local and want to attend a church, we are in Slidell, Louisiana. We're on Pontchartrain Drive. You can find out more about us on the web at journeyfellowshipchurch.com or download the Journey app. It's free from your app store. Type in Journey Fellowship Church in your search bar, and you can download our app. It's full of information and resources and past sermons and small groups and how to get connected. And you can watch all of the back episodes of Stories I Didn't Get to Tell Last Sunday. Thanks for joining us today, Ms. Sue. This is Pastor Doug for Journey, and we love you guys, and we'll see you next time.